Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the season finale here at Late Night Racing. 21 rounds have been and gone, and it is all coming down to the finale. 3 contenders still. Who will come out on top at the Autódromo José Carlos Pace for round 22 of Late Night Racing, the Brazilian Grand Prix? My name is Luke Etheridge, and I'm going to be taking you through the action, which, as you might have noticed, is starting slightly earlier tonight. It is a 100% race, and it is going to be double points as well, which means there is a lot of things up for grabs. Alan leading the championship 12 points ahead of Jonathan Cox, and Denge still with a mathematical chance of taking the title, but to do so he needs pole, win, and the fastest lap, and Alan not to score any points, Jonathan Cox not to score highly, so that is unlikely. We will have to see. Who, though, ends up claiming the title out of the Haas driver and the AlphaTauri driver? You could argue that Jonathan Cox has probably had the edge on pace. Will it, though? Will that prove to be the case tonight? Will safety cars have a say? Will the Brazilian weather, which has caused many chaotical races over the years? Who can forget the 2008 World Championship decider, the Is That Glock moment, with Timo Glock being passed by Lewis Hamilton on the final corner to secure the Brit his first world title, and what we knew back then would probably be the first of many. Just waiting then for the qualifying session to start, seeing what it's like, overcast conditions at this moment in time. We'll get to see who can take pole position. We have got a few new drivers tonight. ISRL rotation, FCT the best. Couple of new drivers, Liam MD making a return as well for the first time in a while, and Blaze is back, and it was Blaze who took the victory last time out. A fantastic performance from him at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to take the championship. Good job though by Alan to finish in third. Jonathan Cox had a bit of a nightmare, that big retirement with a couple of corners to go, and that ended up costing him the title. And we're going to go on board then with Andenge. He needs pole position, so let's see what he can do as he comes round the centre S now, heading onto the backstage down the Retta Aposta, currently in third position. Double points, let's not forget, here tonight. Heavy braking needed then for this downhill section into Desida de Largo. It's currently his teammate Lost Souls on pole position as we head uphill now down to the double right-hander at Ferraggiore. You've got to be fully committed, down on the brakes for the first one, flat out through the second bar to make sure you get the best possible line into this very tight and twisty middle sector of the lap. Nice and calm there for Pinheiro, staying over to the left-hand side of the track, braking hard again for Vico De Pato. You've really got to be good on the brakes around this circuit. It's looking very close between Blaze and Andenge at the moment as he flies through Miguelio up the hill into Yongzhou into the final sector of the lap. It looks as though he's just lost a bit of time. Can he gain it all on this uphill section? Will Andenge still have a chance of taking the title, or will we see someone else on pole position? It looks like it's going to be Blaze who's going to take pole position. Andenge takes second, but that means he's eliminated from the championship contention. So it will be a 2-horse race now. Alan versus Jonathan Cox for the title, and we have been informed by Andenge and Tremenator there is going to be rain in the middle of this race. Blaze on pole position again, a fantastic job, a great qualifying from Andenge, fantastic effort from him as well to get onto the front row. Just not enough though to keep his championship chances alive. Lost Souls is in third. ISRL rotation, great debut from him in fourth. The AlphaTauris of Total Peace and Jonathan Cox, 5th and 6th. Will they help each other, seeing as there is only one full-time Haas driver now? Jesse is 7th. Alan, 8th. Ona Ole is 9th. Noble in 10th. Immortal, DVN, the best. A-Reg, Envoy Extreme, Liam, Fatality, and Energetic 6 rounding out the grid. Those bottom 8 drivers, I should say, will have a free choice of tyres. And if the race finishes as the qualifying is, with Jonathan Cox in 6th and Alan in 8th position, that will be enough to secure the championship for Alan. You can see it is dry at the moment. Looks nice and dry. Nicer sunny Brazilian evening at the moment, but we are well informed over the next 1.5 hours. It will not end up staying that way. There is going to be some rain in this race. Whether it will be heavy enough for the full wet tyres or it'll just be intermediates, but strategy is going to be so key around here. Penalties as well, of course, with a 100% race. Any penalties, any late safety cars are just going to be oh so crucial. You don't want to be getting any. It is a good difficult pit entry here. Can easily break a bit too late as you're going uphill into the pit entry. And quite a difficult pit exit as well. We've seen many a driver over the years get it wrong at this circuit coming out of the pits, and we've seen many crashes come together on that Retro Aposta, on that back straight. Verstappen into the back of Montoya in 2001. Another race, a bit like tonight, that we're expecting to be wet dry, with David Coulthard taking his first win of the 2001 season. We had the two Ferraris in 2019 crashing into each other in that straight. We had Kimi Räikkönen getting taken out in 2009, with Trulli, Suttel and Alonso then coming together on the way up to Ferraggiore, and it's safe to say the Italian was not too happy about the Germans driving, with the afters of that carrying on until the Abu Dhabi race a couple of weeks after. We'll see then what tyres everyone is going for them in this qualifying session. In this race, we're just waiting for Liam to ready up. Hopefully this isn't signs of any connection issues. I know a few of the drivers have been experiencing a few issues with PSN tonight, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything stays nice and careful. It does look as though we are going to get underway then for the formation lap. Let's see what tyres everyone is going for in this race then. And it is softs for the top 10. We knew that. The two Mercedes in 11th and 12th also going for the softs, as have Envoy Extreme, Energetic 6 and Damiano Insanity. Fatality and Liam on the hard tyres in 16th and 17th place. And the 7th row of the grid of SCT and Image going for the mediums. Doesn't really tell us a lot about when this rain is going to come. That we've got some drivers thinking it's going to go for the soft tyres. The two Mercedes of Immortal and Farhad. Immortal actually looked really good at the start of last week. Was doing a fantastic job. Got into the top 10 on the medium tyres. It just slightly fell apart for him. He'll be hoping for better this time about. Envoy Extreme didn't exactly have an ideal debut either, but carried on right until the end regardless. They're doing a pretty solid performance. As we said, did finish a lap down, didn't get any points. There will be some changes to the point system actually here next season. It is going to be a shorter calendar. It's still going to be 25 points for a win, but the points are being tweaked to make sure that if you see the checkered flag, you will get a point, and to encourage those drivers lower down, as Immortal clearly has not got as much heat into those soft tyres as he would have liked at this moment in time. He's found himself spinning around on his way into Vico de Pato, overseeing of that incident between Albon and Hamilton in 2019, which cost the Thai driver his first podium in Formula 1 and actually managed to help Pierre Gasly get what was then his best finish, and Carlos Sainz as well. That race the first time since the 1994 German Grand Prix where two debutants ended up on the podium. Well, two people managed to get their debut podium, I should say. So it's fair to say Interlagos can throw up some very exciting racing action. We're expecting rain just after half distance, so late 30s, early 40s for the rain to come. That'll be good news for them on the medium tyres. Can these drivers on the soft stretch them far enough, or will they have to go a bit longer on the second set of tyres? And that could really stir up the order. All the drivers on the grid, all the drivers loading in fine as we wait for the lights now to come on here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Does seem to be an awfully long wait at this moment in time, so hopefully it won't be too long. There we go, we have got the lights coming on now. 5 lights here, and we're underway for the season finale. What are the starts like? Not a bad start from Andenji. Looks as though he might have a chance of actually challenging. Blaze into turn 1. The McLaren just able to stay ahead. One of the Alpha Tauris has had a fantastic start. Further up the order, I think that might mean Total P's getting a good start, but he's blazing the lead. Andenji in second position. Total P's is in third. We're on board with his teammate Jonathan Cox, who's going to try and go the long way round here at Decido de Largo. That's a very brave move from a championship contender on lap 1 of the race, and that's put him under big pressure here from Jesse, who's got the inside line. He's going to have the outside though for Ferraggiore. Can he go all the way around the outside? There's a McLaren of Image facing the wrong way in the background, and Jonathan Cox just able to hold on to that position for now. Jesse trying to shove one up the inside there. That was probably, well, certainly never going to work. Aylan just avoiding making contact with the Red Bull. So the two title contenders have got their way through cleanly. Envoy Extreme having a big moment there in the Red Bull. He'd actually had a pretty respectable start as well to this race. He's now back down though in 14th, Fatality in 15th, Immortal, using those soft tyres brilliantly to jump up a few places. We see Damiano as well, also on the soft, getting a fantastic start. But in the lead of this race, it is Blaze on lap 1, and Denge is second. Total Pease is in 3rd position. Rotation in 4th at this moment in time. Jonathan Cox is in 6th place, just behind Lost Souls, and then Alan has managed to get past Jesse into 7th place. And a reminder, if Alan wins the race, he's for champion. If he finishes 2nd position, Jonathan Cox would need to win this race and hope that Alan doesn't set the fastest lap of the race. So things are really close in this championship battle. Pretty much in the higher order, it's almost going to be whoever ends up finishing ahead on track is going to end up taking the title. And if there's a few cars between them, that's really going to favour the car that is in front. No pit stops made on that first lap. We did see some incidents in the background. Liam at the back of the field doesn't look like he's got any damage on his car. Irreg either. So everyone through the first lap cleanly, and it is going to be a bit of a case of survival in this race. You don't want to get involved in incidents early on when you know the rain is coming. Damiano is flying his way up the field though in the solo racing point. 13th position at the moment. Double driver that I believe is making his first race appearance of the season. Doing really well. Doing what you need to when you're on those soft tyres. FCT and Irreg though, I think they're going to be the ones to watch out for on the mediums. They might just be on the right tyres to possibly maybe make a one-stop work or a two-stop if the rain does stop early enough to get us towards the end of the race. On board with Andenchen, he can just fight freely now, not having to bother, not really having to worry about any possible title situation. There's some battling going on further down the field. Irreg getting passed then by Energetic 6, who's now going to try and have a go at Fatality. Jonathan Cox already picking up a time penalty after only 2 and a bit laps. That is crucial in these early stages as Energetic 6 uses his grip on those soft tyres and gets himself up into 16th place. Here we are then on board with Jonathan Cox, and he has quite often this season managed to pick up the odd penalty, as Envoy Extreme does as well. We've seen it cost him on occasion. On the other hand, Alan perhaps doesn't have that same outright pace. He tends to do better early on in the race, and then, no disrespect to him, tends to fall off a bit later on. And I think his tyre management is pretty good, and his pace management on the heavier cars, he's just not able to extract the pure 100% pace. But one thing he's almost unbeatable at is not getting penalties. He is an extremely clean driver. Farhad here on the back of Noble for 11th and 12th position at the moment, just outside the points, and Farhad gets that position. Damiano not too far behind either. He might be thinking of a bit of a go. Farhad's gone way too deep into that corner. That's compromised the Renault and might give the Racing Point a chance in the background here. They're both going to have the DRS here, the Renault and the Racing Point, but Damiano's managed to get his nose ahead. That is review of FCT just behind, who's almost thinking of a move himself down the inside there. Oh, big crash. Noble gets on the curb into the wall. Will that be a safety car? I'd be very surprised if we don't see something. And yes, there we go. Our full safety car here then on lap 4. Noble just getting caught on the curb, and then I think a tap from FCT as he was coming back onto the track. Unfortunately for him, not a lot of runoff for that area. He is out of the race. Here's our first retirement. We're down to 18 runners, and we have a safety car. Will we see any of the lead drivers come into the pits? Now, if Total Peace does come into the pits, that's obviously bad news for Jonathan Cox. He won't be able to follow in. And they're all, I did probably expect in these early stages, all staying out. Now, this might be a good job for those actually on the soft tyres as Ole comes into the pit. This might work out okay. More laps under the safety car means the rain will come slightly earlier than expected in terms of laps. So if it was predicted around about lap 40, we might end up seeing the rain around about lap 37, 38. It's actually a new front wing for Ole. That's why he's coming into the pits. Envoy Extreme as well. So mediums for Ole. And oh my goodness me, something has happened at the top of the order. Blazin and Denge are 2 leaders, both with 5-second penalties for a severe collision. And Denge missing a big chunk of his front wing. So he's surely going to have to come into the pits. Total Peace then, net leader at this moment in time. They won't be able to get those 5-second penalties removed because they will have to serve them, obviously, when they make their first pit stop, whatever time that will be. Envoy and Ole both going onto the medium tyres from a set of the soft, so theoretically they don't have to pit again, but the mediums won't last long enough And of course, we are expecting rain in just over half an hour's time, somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes. We are expecting the heavens to open here in Sao Paulo. Let us know if you've got any predictions, who you think is going to take the race victory and who is going to take the race title at the moment, because Alan, 12 points ahead in this double point race. Let's not forget, 50 for a win, 36 for second, and 30, 24, 20, 16, 12, 8, 4 and 2. And someone will correct me if I've messed up the F1 point scheme there. And 2 points for the fastest lap as well if you finish the race. Doesn't matter if you're in the top 10 or not, as long as you finish the race. And Denge into the pits then. A great qualifying, seems to have good pace in the early stages, just getting damage early on. He's going on to another set of these soft tyres. Serves that 5-second penalty, gets rid of it as well. Not the worst idea, of course, as well, with that front wing damage. Drops down to the back of the field. He'll be quick on those softs, and they should be good enough, I believe, to take him to when the rain is going to come in. He should have no problem catching up to the back of the pack, which is still being led then by Blaze. It's now Total Peace's second rotation. Third on his debut, wasn't too happy with his qualifying lap, and he's telling me here, rain in 10 to 15 minutes. Those soft tyres might be looking very good, even though the blocks that the game has get, anyone who's played the F1 game will know on the strategy screen, you get the blocks of when the weather is coming. They're not always the most accurate. I've seen it say halfway through a race, and then after 4 or 5 laps, the first few drops have started to fall. So if it's in 10 to 15 minutes, these clouds are going to have to get very thick very quickly, and those on the soft tyres will be looking really pretty indeed. And Denge, he'll be hoping he can get a long way through the field before that rain comes, otherwise it might be a bit more difficult. DRS will be disabled when it gets heavy enough. Are we going to see the safety car coming this lap? Yes, we are, as we've hit that second sector point, and it is now up to Blaze. Now, Max Verstappen in 2019, he spent a long time letting everyone catch up to the back of him, and then went at pretty much the last possible moment, similar to what Bottas did at Mugello this year. Blaze might be worth doing the same thing here, otherwise you can end up giving someone a fantastic tow down the straight, and Total Pease would love a chance, the pre-season and early season favourite really, to take the championship. It all sort of fell apart after the first few races with not being able to make it. Blaze has gone for it though. We are underway then, and this Total Pease is going to go for it down the inside in these early stages. No, he's not. Rotation, perhaps not having his tyres warmed up quite a lot, a very distinct lack of rotation from that front left there. He's made a big lock up. He now drops into 4th place, and he's got Jonathan Cox all over the back of him then for 4th position. Then this could be crucial for the AlphaTauri to get the move done down the inside into the Decido de Largo. Rotation forced off track there. Jonathan Cox will say he was far enough alongside, and Alan also gets the move done. You've got Jesse as well getting down the inside. So 4 places lost on lap 1. Well, on the first lap after the safety car then, for rotation at the moment. Jesse now still battling with rotation. Lost Souls has picked up a penalty. Liam has also picked up one as well. In fact, he's out the race. Liam is out of the race. Could that be another safety car in this race? We'll have to wait and see. Track map still not showing yellow at this moment in time, but we have got another retirement. Liam out of the race, and that is a virtual safety car, and I think Jesse just got ahead of rotation in time there before the VSC. We'll have to... But no, Jesse is letting rotation by, so a bit unlucky there. Virtual safety car in this race. I'm not quite sure what is happening with these two. They're swapping places left, right and centre, but I think Jesse is now ahead. Hopefully we aren't seeing a repeat of the safety car glitch. Noble Julian saying a great way to finish the season. It hasn't gone to plan for him. Is this another front wing change for Denge? He's into the pits again. If the rain's coming soon, why on earth would he be making another stop? And it is. It's a second front wing change. Has he made contact with Liam and sent him around? For someone who thought, in fact, even with about 10-15 seconds to go off qualifying, it looked like he might have a chance of the championship still, albeit a slim one. It has all gone horribly wrong. We're back to green. He's going to find himself about half a lap down. Total Peas all over the back of Blaze, and no one really able to get a fantastic run apart from Damiano Insanity round the outside at Pinheiro here on the hard tyres on the best car. Great move then by Damiano. 9 places gained in these first few laps. He has been absolutely flying, especially when you consider we've got a VSC taking up almost a full lap and a full safety car taking up 3 of them as well. He has been flying his way round the order. You can see there the bottom 3 drivers have all been into the pits. And is Total Peas close enough to Blaze this time around? DRS re-enabled. Then after the safety car period, are we now going to see some moves? Rotation all of the back of Jesse, who's gone very deep into the second part of the centre S. Rotation's just got a bit of wheel spin there on the exit of the corner. Is that going to cost him, or is he going to have enough straight line speed to get down the inside at Decido del Lago? Going to have to be a very late move on the brakes. Deciding discretion is the better part of Valor. Not going for it this time. Alan just finding himself cut off slightly from those top four at this moment in time as he now picks up a 3-second time penalty. We've seen Fatality pick up one of those as well. But Alan knows this is good enough. Just staying within a car or two of Jonathan Cox will securing the title as Envoy Extreme now picking up another time penalty. Really struggling with the track limits. Drivers who are normally getting 10, 12, 15 seconds under normal 50% race conditions, what we're used to in the majority of the LNR races and many other leagues, they're really going to find it hard tonight. They're going to have to be on their best behaviour, especially once the rain comes, otherwise they could find themselves getting into big trouble. Jesse might be in trouble if he wants to hold on to this 6th position, and I think he realises it's a losing battle at the moment. Rotation straight down the inside. He takes 6th position. Jonathan Cox then, fastest lap of the race last time around. That is what he needs to do as well. Just getting those extra 2 bonus points could be a big hand as we check how many wins each of the drivers has had so far this season, because if it's tied on points it will go on whoever has had the most wins, of course. Jonathan Cox has had 3, Alan has had 2, so if it ends up tied on points, Jonathan Cox will take the championship by virtue of having 1 more win than the Haas driver. It's been a while though since we've seen a win for Jonathan Cox for Canadian Grand Prix. With a lot of the drivers around him having penalties, you wouldn't count him out for this one though. He is going to be very determined indeed. Still just hanging on to the back of these guys. Total Peas then in second, in a good place in the AlphaTauri at the moment. And I wonder if there's any team communications going on here. Because if Jonathan Cox, let's say, gets up to the back of Total Peas in the final few laps, would we see a swap between them? And this is a big if that would determine the title. Total Peas not thinking about that at the moment though. Just thinking about trying to catch up to Blaze, who a bit like he did in Mexico, a bit like he did last time out in Abu Dhabi, as we now see Total Peas getting a penalty. So all the top 4 with a penalty. Blaze just doing a fantastic job at the moment. Immortal having to defend from Damiano, who's just continuing this relentless charge up the field. Both of these drivers started on fresh soft tyres. Is it going to be a move here into turn 4 with Decido del Lago? No, in the end, Damiano just having to stick back. Jesse picking up a penalty as well. He's dropped back from rotation. Rotation is starting to close up to Alan. He's got that within a second, and Alan is really dropping back from those front few guys. It's about 2.1 seconds at the moment, and again, we've only had, 6.5, 7 racing laps at the moment, as that's another penalty for Envoy Extreme. Alan needs to be careful. If he drops behind rotation, things are going to start to look... It's not panic situation yet. Just depends if Jonathan Cox makes his way up the order, as Damiano has gone for a move down the inside of Julio there. He's going to get that position. Immortal might be better just sitting back. He's really compromised his exit there. He will get the DRS off the back of the racing point, but he's also got FCT to beat all over him here. This is a battle for the final points position. It's not over between 9th and 10th as well. Is Immortal close enough to go down the inside? Not this time around. Has a quick look, maybe just to sort of put a bit of pressure on the racing point, who's quickly catching up to the lead Mercedes of Farhad. And then this is the lead car that didn't start on a set of the old soft tyres. He started on the fresh softs after starting outside the top 10. And has currently gained himself 4 positions. Damiano, the big winner, gaining 10. Fatality's done well, gaining 5. And you can see the biggest losers. And Denge, obviously, with 2 pit stops, having lost 15 places. And Onaroli also losing 6 places after having to make that early pit stop. Blaze still holding on to the lead of this race. Still looking pretty good at this moment in time. Still feeling pretty comfortable as well out in front. Got plenty of ERS. Pease has got about 25% more, but it's not really enough at the moment, with Blaze still being above that magic 10% mark where you really start struggling as Fatality picks up another penalty. Blaze has just got to relax. He knows the 2 main overtaking points on this track. Centre S, that's the only one where you can really overtake without going alongside another car. As here we see rotation here has got ahead of Alan, so he is now up into 5th place. Is this just rotation showing extra pace, or is this Aylan showing he's struggling a bit slightly? As I was saying then, Center S, you can sort of do a move there on the brakes, whereas into Decido de Largo, you really need to be alongside into turn 4 to have a chance of overtaking the car ahead. If you're not already alongside on the inside into 4 and 5, it's going to be very difficult after the braking zone to get any moves done. So Aylan in 6 just needs to try and keep in contact now. Doesn't need to do anything stupid. He knows the championship is still in his hands at this moment in time, but he won't be too confident with the pace the others are showing. Those front 4 have just escaped after the first safety car, and I wonder if there has been any slight tap anywhere, and whether Aylan has got a tiny bit of front wing damage that we cannot see at this moment in time. FCT has got ahead of Immortal then for 10th position, and Damiano looks as though he's relentless charge up the field. Farhad might end up being his next victim here. The Mercedes using a lot of ERS to try and stop the racing point, and that might have just done enough on the run down into Center S. It's going to be a very brave move on the brakes if he's going to go for it, but not at this moment in time. Concentrate though on getting a good exit through the final part of Center S, through turn 3. Farhad instantly going over to the left hand side on the back straight. The Reto Aposta, he will hold on for another lap, but all this defending will be costing him time to those ahead, and he's another driver not in a bad situation at the moment, having kept it nice and clean on the penalties. Bit of move further back as well. Envoy Extreme down into 15th. Onorole trying to recover from his incident earlier on, as Envoy taking a IndyCar style line there, akin to what we see the American Racing Series doing at Colton. Not exactly the fastest way around, and perhaps an explanation as to why Envoy already having 9 seconds off penalties. Blaze with 5, Lost Souls with 6, Fatality with 6. Everyone else who has a penalty flag next to the name is currently on 3 seconds. Damiano still closing up to the back then of Farhad, and seems a lot closer than he was the lap before, and I think that slipstream is just going to be enough this time. They can see Jesse not too far up the road this time. He's going to have to go the long way round in the racing point, on the brakes into the Center S. Can he get it all the way around the outside of the first part? No, he cannot. So Farhad proving a bit tougher to pass at this moment in time. Perhaps just those fresh soft tyres fighting like with like. It's a bit harder now for Damiano to try and work his way up. He stays in 9th place. Farhad stays in 8th. A rotation not really closing up too much to those ahead. He's still about 3 seconds behind, recovering after that disastrous first lap under the safety car. He was 3rd when the safety car came in. He was 7th about half a lap later when the virtual safety car was announced. So recovered well, got past Jesse, got past Aylan, has kept it clean on penalties. Could well be a dark horse to take the victory in this race, and that is not what Jonathan Cox would want. He doesn't want anyone else taking the win here, because it just makes it that even bit harder for him to end up taking the championship here. If we do see rotation take the victory in this race, and Jonathan Cox ends up finishing in 2nd position, and that would give him 36 points. He'd need Aylan to finish off of the podium, and that's assuming Aylan doesn't get a fastest lap, of course. We are seeing Lost Souls just pull out of the slipstream a few times there. Not close enough to go for a move. We're seeing Pease give it a try as well, just to try and do something a bit different here. Both Farhad and Damiano, though, are very low on their ERS, as Damiano now tries for the outside line into the Rector Costa, Decido de Largo, and he's made it work. That is a fantastic move from the racing point then, all the way around the outside into turns 4 and 5, and on lap 16 he's up into 8th. I wonder if we're now going to see some more pace from him. Has he got enough to get his way up to the back of Jesse, and maybe even to the back of Aylan? The last thing that a Haas driver wants is another car getting involved with him. Envoy has been off the circuit, I believe, at turns 4 and 5. We'll see if he's got any front wing damage. No, he hasn't at the moment. Does look as though he is struggling for pace. Talking of struggling, the clouds and the sun is struggling to win its battle to come out at the moment. It's really getting dark at this circuit. I don't think it's going to be too long before we start seeing some rain, which is good news for everyone on the soft tyres. They've got plenty of time and plenty of tyre life. You'd expect them to be able to go late 20s anyway, so should be fine with the rain, especially as we've had a few laps under a safety car as well. That will have just added a bit of life onto them. Blaze still holding on. Pease and Lost Souls are getting close. Jonathan Cox is just hanging a bit further back at this moment in time. Not sure whether that's intentional, maybe just saving his tyres, maybe not wanting to get stuck in the dirty air and maybe cost in any incidents that could happen, as Andenj and Energetic 6 are battling here for 15th and 16th. The Williams has got his way up, but he's not had the greatest exit there through turn 3. There's a bit of wheel banging as they come down the better Aposta here. Is it going to be the Renault driver on the inside line into turn 4? Still, the Williams is trying to fight hard all the way around the outside. Unless he gets that overlap, it's going to be very hard to do the move, though, into Ferrajova. And that is Energetic 6 up into 15th. And Denj trying to get that move done then on the Renault. Ends up staying in 16th for now. But still time, still plenty of time. And he has got the fresher soft tyres, so you'd expect him to have a chance. And you can just see he's itching to find a way through. Energetic 6 not leaving any gap on the inside there into Pico de Pato. Just perhaps that's maybe what Alexander Albon should have done in 2019, and we wouldn't have had to wait so long for him to get his first podium. And Denj really looking quicker here around the outside into Young Sao. This is going to be a very brave move indeed if he can pulls it off. Whichever one was behind at the DRS line should end up getting the position here though, and I think they might have been pretty much level at the DRS line, so no one ends up getting it, and Denjo is up into 15th place. Not a lot of ERS. Will the Renault of Energetic 6 be able to get the move back? As we see there, Energetics just ran off track, got himself a penalty, and Denj going very defensive on the inside. As long as he doesn't leave a bit of a gap open for the Renault once again to send one down the inside into the Destino de Largo, and Denj has been able to hold on a lot better this time around. If he can just keep that overlap, he should have that position into Ferrajova, and he is going to take then 50th place. Great move, great persistence by the Williams driver, and fantastic defending from Energetic 6 as well. Just not able though to hold on to that position in the end, and does have to yield. Leaders on to lap 19. We're over a quarter of the way through this race, as so much has happened already. We've had 2 retirements, we've had a full safety car, we've had a virtual safety car. We've not had the rain coming yet, although it does not look too far away. Aylin is currently in 6th. Jonathan Cox is in 4th. What that means for the championship is Aylin would end up taking the title. As things stand at the moment, by 8 points. Doing the double then in the Haas after securing the Constructors' Championship. I think at the, it might have even been at the Russian or Japanese Grand Prix. It was an incredibly long time ago when we saw the Haas team. They've been dominant throughout the season, Aylin and Paulie Orange. Paulie Orange electing not to continue in the league anymore, so giving up his chance of taking the title. So Aylin flying it solo for the full-time Haas drivers, doing a good job at the moment in 6th, but that means he can't rely on any teammate help at the moment, with the best of it further back, in the same ways that Jonathan Cox and Total Peace could perhaps work together. Another time penalty for Envoy. As long as it carries on, we could get some points here, excuse me. We might see some incidents later on in the race as the rain starts to fall down. Lap 20 out of 71. Blaze just getting a fantastic run there. The dirty air really costing all these cars at about 3 or 4 tenths behind, and that's why we're not seeing too many moves into this turn 4 and 5 here as they head downhill. Going down that back straight, actually the opposite way to what they used to before this track was shortened in the late 80s, in time for the 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix. Used to be a fearsome 4.5+ mile blast through the lakes here at Interlagos, between lakes as it stands for in Portuguese. Quickly shortened for safety reasons in the 80s as the Formula 1 went to Rio de Janeiro at the Autódromo Nelson Piquet, as it was known before its demolition. There has, of course, been a lot of rumours about Rio de Janeiro getting Formula 1 back, but it has been decided Interlagos has signed a contract. It will be staying, hopefully, in Sao Paulo for the foreseeable future. Total Peace has picked up another time penalty while all that's been going on, so he has now got 6 seconds, same as Lost Souls behind him, only 1 second more than Blaze. So actually, with all those having more penalties, Jonathan Cox is looking very good indeed at the moment. He is on 3 seconds, I think. That is definite rain. We have got rain here then at Interlagos. 51 laps to go. This is going to spice things up indeed. Is it going to be heavy enough now? Definitely not for the intermediate tyres. Jonathan Cox might even have to end up double stacking with his teammate, which could change things at the moment. That's not something Aylin, I think anyone else. It's only FCT and Jonathan Cox who, out of the top 10, might be at danger of double stacking. And with the gap between Aylin and the best at this moment in time currently being about 7 seconds. That might not be the biggest issue, as rotation now picks up a penalty, so that is good news for Aylin. He's the only driver in the top 7 to have kept it clean. In fact, only himself, Damiano and Farhad out of the top 10 keeping it clean. Only 5 drivers, once you add Ole and Andenge out of all 17, showing how tricky the track limits can be around this circuit. Blazon still in the lead of this race. DRS is still activated. Lost Souls seems to have struggled a bit more on that lap, has dropped back ever so slightly, but still in the DRS range of Pease and Blaze at this moment in time. And are we going to see any of these drivers go for a move while all this is happening? The Reg has worked his way past Fatality. He's up into 12. I wonder if those on the harder tyres are struggling more in the wetter conditions. You do see that sometimes from those now on the mediums and especially the hard tyres that Fatality is on. Might just be struggling to keep the heat in them in these damp conditions, where the soft tyres might be able to go that lap or two longer. So it turns out being on the soft was definitely the way to go. 2 Mercedes that went on the soft tyres and have been able to stay on them, and Damiano as well. Definitely calling it well in this race. And Andenge now picks up a time penalty, and it looks as though there are a few drivers around there really tippy-toeing around this Interlagos circuit all of a sudden. I would not be surprised if you see a few drivers think about coming into the pits on this lap. DRS has not officially been disabled yet. You can see it on Blazer's screen. Immortal is taking a cut across the grass somewhere. You can see that Blaze is coming into the pits then on this lap. No, he's not. It was up on his screen that he was thinking about it, but I think he's decided to stay out. Likewise with Jonathan Cox. Reg has managed to get past Immortal. I wonder if we've seen any damage actually on Immortal's car. Doesn't look like it at the moment. They're just hanging on in there in these intermediate conditions. We'll just quickly have a check what the lap time was last time around for the race leader. 112.9, so it's definitely getting slower, but perhaps not enough at the moment. Immortal, though, definitely thinks it enough. He clips his wing on the way into the pits. He is him. He's the first driver to go for the gamble then and chuck on a set of the... What is going on? That's another set of the soft tyres. That is intriguing. That is very intriguing indeed. Immortal, I don't know whether that was a mistake. He's put on another set of the softs. Now, surely you're going to have to pit in 1 or 2 laps' time anyway, as, Envoy has had a, Envoy's got a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. We've seen a spin from a Renault, and that is Energetic 6, and he's got big front wing damage, so he'll definitely be coming in this lap. And I think a few more drivers will be as well. They'll be losing more and more time. It is starting to get really heavy rain around this Interlagos circuit. You can see the rain bouncing off. DRS disabled, and that is a surefire sign that it is time to chuck on a set of the intermediate tyres. Blaze and Pease and Lost Souls getting a speeding penalty. And Jonathan Cox perhaps doing the wisest thing and making sure he doesn't get one of them. That has cost him time. Is Aylin, the man who never gets a penalty. Aylin has got a 5-second speeding penalty. So many drivers being caught out by these pit lane speeding penalties at the moment. Jonathan Cox was held up in the pits. Pease then comes out in the lead. Lost Souls in second. Blaze third. Immortal fourth. Aylin now fifth ahead of Jonathan Cox. Damiano up into seventh. Watch out for him in this race. He showed supreme pace on the soft tyres. I wonder if he can get himself involved. But so many drivers getting penalties there. I think everyone has come into the pits on that lap except, well, Immortal. I'm not quite sure whether that was just a bit of a mistake from him. He forgot to change to the intermediate tyres, perhaps. Jeff not telling him in time that the Inters were ready. Well, the track was ready for Inters by any stretch of the imagination either. And having to do that extra lap has really cost him. In fact, he's decided to stay out again. How long is this rain forecast for? And does he think he's better served by staying out on track? I'd say definitely not, seeing as every driver but him is out on the intermediates. But we'll have to wait and see. There's a reason why I'm sat in the comms box. And these guys are out there racing at the moment. Total Pease then in the lead of this race by 1.4 seconds with 11 seconds off penalties. Lost Souls also with 11. You can see now it's just Damiano and Farhad, the only drivers that have kept it clean. Big penalties at the front of the field though, and the front of the championship. Aylin getting a pit lane speeding penalty. Jonathan Cox and Rotation, I think pretty much the only ones out of those top 6 that didn't pick up a pit lane speeding penalty. So Rotation looking pretty good at the moment to possibly just get that race victory on debut here and do a good job. Aylin 5th, Jonathan Cox 6th, Damiano is in 7th, Farhad looking pretty quick at this moment in time as Alan picks up another 3-second tyre penalty there. He's now on to 8 seconds. He's struggling a bit more in these intermediate conditions. Braking distances much longer. We're nowhere near full wet conditions, and we don't know if we are going to get near them at the moment. And I'm not sure whether FCT was going extremely defensive there on the Mercedes of Farhad, or just got a bit of wheel spin in the damp as Immortal, another one. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these time penalties, and Den just got down the inside then of Fatality. He's now up into 13th position. Is the Ferrari going to be able to fight back the spray? We're going to get a bit of a visualisation of it at the moment to give us a clue just how bad it is. And looking from that camera angle, not bad whatsoever at this moment in time. Not really. Lots of spray coming off those intermediate tyres. We're probably just at the point where the intermediates are the faster tyre, but they will give you a lot more security. They'll generate heat a lot quicker than the slicks, which might be able to cope while you've got heat into them, but as soon as you lose, it'll cost you, as Farhad there and FCT coming together. I don't think FCT there was anything intentional from there. I think Farhad understeered a bit, the Haas oversteered, just ended up almost coming to blows, which is a shame for him. Immortal, I mean, fair play to him for carrying on, but you can see in a straight line he's losing multiple bits of time here as FCT gets his pit lane speeding penalty. Has he broken his front wing on that lap, I wonder? Where we saw him head severely over to the left hand side of the track, did he just clip the wall and break his front wing? No, he's just serving his penalty. We'll see if we get the front wing being changed. It is another set of intermediates, and it is indeed, so that is going to drop him a long way down the order, down into 14th place behind Fatality then for the Haas driver. Total Peace still doing a good job though, in the lead of this race at the moment by 1.6 seconds from Lost Souls. Blaze is a further 3.5 seconds behind, rotation in 4th, but the big news for now, Alan with 5 second more penalties than Jonathan Cox is ahead of him on track. The Haas is in 5th, the AlphaTauri currently holding 6th position. We have just seen that Immortal has now lost a place to Energetic 6. It's all credit for trying, but Energetic 6's AI, I think, has been able to get ahead. There is no heat, grip, anything in those tyres at the moment. I think he could do with just getting himself to the pits before he ends up inevitably sliding off circuit and possibly causing a safety car here, which would be good news for those that haven't got any penalties. Damiano and Farhad would look very good indeed if there was a safety car all of a sudden. It'd give those with 5 second penalties a chance to probably come in as well and serve their penalties. These intermediates, if it stays like this and towards the end, will not last. We would expect them to have to come in and put on another set, probably in the range of lap 48 to lap 50, somewhere around there. And Denge making a slight mistake on that lap, losing a place then back to Fatality, and Denge back down to 13th. Quick driver, got a few second places early on in the season, just sort of faded from the title battle with the consistency of Alan, Jonathan Cox and Paulie Orange, but still a very good performance. And with Orange disappearing for the championship, he will then claim 3rd place, and I'm sure he'll have taken that at the start of the season. And I think I was right about the pace of Damiano. He's showing some supreme pace at the moment. He's catching up to Jonathan Cox, who doesn't look like he's enjoying these intermediate conditions as much as Alan's done. Maybe, just maybe, Alan's gone for a bit more of a wet setup on his car here, and that is why we're seeing some good performances from him at the moment. Energetic 6 has gone way off track there. I'm not sure whether that was just to get out of the way, perhaps, of the Alfa Romeo and the Haas driver. Here we are on board then with Damiano. He's flying his way up to the back of Jonathan Cox. He's got that gap down to about 0.4 seconds, and we know he's not afraid of going for a move as Energetic 6 is all the way round. Really struggling then on those intermediates, perhaps just overheated the rear tyres after spinning up the wheels too much. Immortal has finally realised that those softs are not doing anything in this conditions. He's come into the pits then for a set of the intermediate tyres, and Immortal there really Energetic 6 I should say, really struggling with understeer, oversteer. That car does not look like it was set up for these conditions one iota at this moment in time. FCT is back into the pits. I wonder if he's made contact with the wall once again. He's actually going onto the medium tyres. I don't believe that was intentional. I can't believe that was intentional. FCT is onto a set of the medium tyres. I mean, it's still raining as Energetic 6 is off towards the wall once again. If Immortal, who's now DNF from the race, if Immortal was struggling on a set of the full of the soft tyres, I can't imagine FCT is going to be able to do a lot on those medium tyres. In fact, I imagine as soon as he hits the brakes here for Interlagos, he's going to have to tiptoe around so carefully. You can see he's not even touching full throttle until he gets up towards 6th gear here, as Jonathan Cox is just going to go straight through, and Damiano will as well. Energetic 6 has managed to get it back to the pit lane. Just catches you out here. You only have a limited set of intermediates, and if you use them all up and they're gone, the game can sometimes default you to a set of dry tyres, as it tends to like you putting you on a fresh set of tyres, even if they're not the ones you wanted to be on. Fatality then, picking up another time penalty. We will check what the time penalty situation is then. At this moment in time, our 2 leaders on 11 seconds. Blaze 5, rotation looking good on 3. Jonathan Cox also with 3. Envoy, 26 seconds. That's only 1 or 2 away from a disqualification, surely, for the Red Bull driver. If he doesn't start keeping it on track this soon, the race director is going to pull the plug and say enough is enough, as Lost Souls retired in the pit lane. Lost Souls, I think, has retired in the pit lane, so he is out of this race. That's good news then. For Alan, well, it's probably good news actually for both, you could say. Alan bumps him further up the order, 1 less car to worry about. Jonathan Cox, higher chance of scoring higher points, means if he finishes ahead of Alan, probably going to be a bigger points difference. And Denge, the other Williams then, taking advantage of a mistake from Fatality, and Denge up into 12th place. The rain is definitely staying at intermediate only conditions at this moment in time. You can just see that as and then taking it very easy on the throttle there. I wonder if he's struggling a bit and put a bit less fuel in than he expected, because we've had a safety car and a VSC as well, and you can see there Andenge with the yellow fuel warning light on, so it looks as though he's under fueled quite severely in this race. Maybe expecting a few safety cars. You don't really expect to use a lot of fuel in the wet conditions. As you can see there, he's let Fatality by, so I wonder if there was some contact between them. If so, extremely sporting from the Williams driver to do that. We do like to see that Andenge, to be fair, as a lot of drivers are in this field. All credit to them for the sporting nature they have shown throughout the season. So we're down to the 15 runners here then. Lost Souls and Immortal, the final 2 retirements, both in the pit, so didn't cause a safety car. Liam and Noble causing safety cars early on. But the man in the lead of this race, and the man who's looking like he's got so much more pace than everyone around him at the moment, Toto P's 6.1 second lead. Even with that 5 second pit lane speeding penalty that he will serve, he's definitely still coming out in the lead of this race once again after he serves it. Imagining that everyone else has pitted, of course. Jonathan Cox, though, another 3 second time penalty for one of our championship contenders. So that now puts him on 6 seconds. The advantage, the pendulum, swings its way back towards Alan again, as it will throughout this race. There's still 40 laps to go. There is plenty of stuff going to happen. Energetic 6 just going slow there, getting out of the way of some of these cars. It has not been an ideal race for him whatsoever. All credit to him. He's just carrying on at the moment, currently in 16th. Will bump up to 50th though, and last position. Now Damiano, we saw him pull off this move so many times on drivers earlier on, as the rain has stopped around the Interlagos circuit. It is now, well, there's no more rain falling. The track is still damp, of course, but there is no more rain. I wonder if we're going to see some drivers coming to the pits in the next few laps, and possibly, if they're good enough, maybe stretch for softs towards the end if they're very light on them. Otherwise, it'll be mediums. Hards definitely not needed. Mediums will easily get their way towards the end of this race. I think that's what we'll be seeing. A lot of the drivers go on. It all depends on how quickly does it dry up. Good news for Jonathan Cox, even though he's behind his teammate. He's probably far enough behind now at 14 seconds for the double stack to not really play any part in it. So Jonathan Cox doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about a pit lane speeding penalty. Alan, Blaze and Total P's do, so he'll jump back ahead of Alan out on track, but will now have 3 seconds of, well, 3 seconds extra of time penalties, of course, as Energetic 6 is into the pits once again. I wonder if he's going to be the first one to dive onto a set of slicks. No. intermediates as well. I don't think it'll be any of the lead drivers risking it first. Apart from maybe with the exception of Damiano Insanity. He is in 6th place at the moment. Might feel like he's being held up by Jonathan Cox, who, actually, he's deciding, right, it's dry enough. Jonathan Cox into the pits then, a big risk from the man currently second in the championship. If this goes wrong, his title challenge could be over. If this goes right, this could be the moment that secures him the championship. Lap 33 of race 22. Medium tyres going on Jonathan Cox's car. He's going to come out just ahead of Ole, but he's going to have to be so careful on these first few laps as Ole coming into the pits as well. And there's not a lot of spray coming off those intermediates at the moment, so Jonathan Cox is in free air, has to be very careful on this pit lane exit at this moment in time. You can see him doing so. I think everyone else, well, definitely Alan will cover him off by coming into the pits this lap, and we'll have to see whether that has saved Jonathan Cox any time. And judging by the understeer he's got going into Decido de Largo, it's not quite ready yet. Maybe another half a lap and he might not lose anything here. We'll have to wait and see. Ona Ole and Denge. Ole nearly spinning it in the pit lane there. It's very easily done. I know that myself. I've done it quite a few times. Too many times to remember, really. Total P's into the pits then. Onto a set of slick tyres for him. Blaze carrying on another lap. Alan also carrying on another lap as well. Not covering off the move from Jonathan Cox. He feels like these intermediates are fine at this moment in time. So Blaze back into the lead of this race. Alan in second, Damiano third, and DRS enabled. I've got to say, I think that's a mistake from Alan. This could be a crucial mistake from our championship leader, because if DRS is enabled, that says the slick tyres are the fastest at this moment in time. It's dry enough to use the drag reduction system and cost yourself that bit of downforce down the back straight. The slicks are quick at this moment in time. Jonathan Cox, now that he's got some heat into his tyres, he is going to be very rapid indeed. Did lose a bit of time to some of those round in rotation, pulling a bit further ahead. I wonder, is that extra lap staying out costly? Total P's, in my opinion, has timed it absolutely perfectly, as has rotation. They stayed out a lap longer than Jonathan Cox. They didn't stay out as long as Blaze and Alan. P's now in the net lead of this race. Is surely just going to be catching up hand over fist to those ahead, you'd have thought. Looking at the time gaps, they're staying around the same. It's been about 12.0, 12.1 seconds this entire lap. Blaze into the pits, Alan in, I'm sure taking it a bit more careful on his way in this time to make sure he gets it slowed down to that 50 miles an hour, 80 kilometres an hour. Damiano into the pits as well. Total P's then is carrying on. I might have called this wrong. Total P's did not gain at all. I think he actually lost a second or two as he was heating up those tyres then. Farhad, I was about to say, someone was coming in way too hot into the pit lane there. And Farhad picks up a speeding penalty. Alan onto a fresh set of softs. He feels he'll have done plenty of practice. You imagine mainly in 50% races. 100% races, a bit of a rarity in the league racing community. Alan clearly thinking that the softs will get him towards the end, and he will come out still ahead of Jonathan Cox. So he has gained slightly in all of that. Jesse will come out ahead of Farhad. Ole not doing too bad then. A few more drivers have got rid of their penalties, so Blaze in second position at the moment. 3 seconds off the lead of this race, and it could well be win number 2. He could have had 3 in a row if it wasn't for that penalty in Mexico, and if he signs up next season, he is going to be a hot favourite with the pace he has shown in the last few races. Nearly at the halfway point then. Total P's is in the lead. We're back to dry conditions here at Interlagos. Blaze is second, rotation third, Damiano fourth, and Alan just holding off Jonathan Cox in the race, just holding him up in the championship. No real battles out on track at the moment. We did think, well, I suspected earlier on that Alan had a bit of a wet setup on. He definitely looked a lot more comfortable in those intermediate conditions than some of the drivers around him. He was pulling away from Jonathan Cox and catching up to rotation. We'll see what he can do though, now that he's on a set of the soft tyres. Needs to be careful to make sure they get towards the end. Does not want a last lap puncture to cost him the title. We've seen many last lap punctures in various leagues that I've commentated on, where drivers just push it that extra lap longer. As soon as you get above 70%, you're in risk territory. Obviously, the higher the tyre wear, the higher the risk, but you're always in that risk territory once you get above 70%. So he must be confident that the softs can make it towards the end. It is usually a very standard one-stop soft medium strategy in slick conditions in a 50% around this track, so I think he should be fine on those soft tyres. Just might be struggling for a bit of pace towards the end. We'll need to be careful to make sure doesn't put too much wheel spin in though at this moment in time. That's allowing him to catch up to Damiano, and also rotation is actually catching up to Blaze at this moment in time. So Blaze was keeping everyone at bay at the start of the race. He wasn't really pulling away from them, but he never looked like he was going to be overtaken. Rotation, after that disastrous safety car restart, has got himself back up into third place. Does have a penalty. Only has 3 seconds though. Pease has 6 seconds at this moment in time. And Blaze are keeping it nice and clean. So if Rotation can get ahead of Blaze and start pulling the gap on him, very hard with the 2 DRS zones on such a short circuit, of course. He wants to stay well off the circuit, because that's a very easy way, especially once it's been raining, to end up spinning off towards the barrier. And that is one thing that he would not want to end up doing. He would not want to ruin this race. That would probably cause another safety car, and I think it would cause a lot of drivers to maybe just come in and put that set of the soft tyres on. Envoy and Energetic 6 are also on a set of the soft tyres. They're still carrying on going in 14th and 15th at the moment. Energetic 6 now on 7 pit stops. The best has made 5. Envoy and Andenge making 4. To be honest, say Andenge has made 4 pit stops. 2 of those pretty much before we'd seen the end of the virtual safety car in the first 6-7 laps of this race. He's doing a very good job at the moment. He's got a chance of getting some points as well. He's closed right up to the back of Fatality. Alan, though, round the outside of Damiano Insanity on the brakes into the centre S. And our championship leader is up into 4th place. Rotation will be his next target. Can Damiano stay in contact? Can he use the DRS to try and fight back? He's not got the grip at this moment in time. He's in 5th. He'll just be concentrating on his own race, on staying close. Could still be rewarded with a podium if he manages to keep it clean right towards the end of this race. Is Andenge close enough to Fatality then here through Young South to try and get a move on? Just loses a bit in the dirty air, gets a bit of wheel spin on the damp curb as well. You can see the Ferrari not really bothering with his ERS at this moment in time, not looking like he's going too defensive at the moment. And Andenge really closing up, just not close enough though to get that move done. Will it be a different matter though down the Retro Posto? Will we see the Ferrari go a bit more defensive this time around? And no, still not really feeling the need to, and Andenge not really close enough to make a move anyway. So Fatality doing well there, just keeping far enough ahead that he doesn't have to start defending, doesn't have to start losing any lap time. Damiano getting that position back then on Alan. The racing point back up into 4th place. Now this will be costing Alan a bit of time in the middle sector, but he'll be gaining it on the straights as well, as Envoy picks up another time penalty, as does Andenge. I wonder, it looks like Andenge's had a bit of a moment there actually, coming around turn 8. He's lost a lot of time, got a straight corner cutting penalty, and has dropped off the back of Fatality ever so slightly. So that will be music to the ears of the Ferrari as he sees the Williams get a bit smaller in his rear view mirror at the moment. But as I was saying about Alan, the case is going to be the same for Rotation as well. He's losing time around the corners, but they'll be gaining on the straights, especially Alan and Damiano that are swapping DRS with each other. This might just help them bring them up to the back of those top 3 at this moment in time, where Blaze has just now closed in within about 2.8 seconds of total pace. So a couple of attempts a lap he's closing in, and he is dragging Rotation with him at this moment in time. Rotation, if he finishes 3 seconds ahead of Fees, will finish ahead on penalties. Another pit stop then for Energetic 6. I think he's just enjoying himself at this moment in time, because there's no way someone will have caused that much damage without at some point finding the barrier in a race. So Energetic 6 then, is it another front wing change? No, it's another tyre change, another set of the fresh softs. He's just having fun, he's just seeing what he can do at this moment in time. Rotation not close enough to Blaze. Also, Alan not close enough to Damiano as well. I wonder if these tyres are just overheated a bit when they're stuck in the dirty air, like what we saw earlier on with the DRS train at the front. And they're not able to do anything about it. They're just staying They're just staying within DRS range, but it's not enough for them to get close enough to enact an overtake at any point. See if Rotation can work his way up this time around as they drop down through Mihulia, where Max Verstappen, basically, I think before he'd even started his F1 career officially in 2014, when he was doing a test for Toro Rosso, had that massive slide that he somehow managed to hold. Laser Rotation, no massive slides for them, but a massive opportunity here for the Alfa Romeo to get second position out on track. DRS open. You can see there the rear wing flap open on his car. He is up into second position for now. He has got a penalty, of course. Will we see him close up to total pace and pull away from Blaze as Jonathan Cox? That is another time penalty. On his own at the moment, he's now up to 9 seconds. This hard task is looking more and more impossible. He's probably now going to have to rely on some misfortune for Aylin, who could really, even if he's in a bit of tyre trouble at the end of the race, could afford to take a pit stop. He'd drop a long way behind Jonathan Cox, but would still come out far enough ahead to ensure that he ends up taking this championship. The ball definitely in Aylin's court at the moment. 30 and a bit laps to go. He's just enjoying himself. He's in 5th. Jonathan Cox is in 6th. That is good enough for the Haas driver to take the championship. And Denge is back onto the back of Fatality then, showing the pace that we know he's got. These are a long way behind Ole as he picks up another time penalty in the dirty air, loses it on the curb. And that means he can't get close enough down the back straight, down the Retro Foster. Fatality just holds on a bit longer. This is going to be a pattern that has developed in this race. Rotation, fastest lap of the race then, a 109.751 assisted with the DRS, but a great fastest lap, really closing up the gap then to Pease by about 2 or 3 tenths on that lap. He is dragging Blaze along with him, which is bad news for Pease. It's bad news for Rotation as well at this moment in time. If he can't pull away from Blaze, he's got no chance of winning this race unless McLaren ends up picking a time penalty up, which he did, and which cost him at the Mexican Grand Prix. But he didn't do that last time out, and it didn't matter anyway. He was a dominant performance at Abu Dhabi. We're just seeing there Energetic 6, I think, getting out of the way. Envoy's got another. That's another time penalty. That's 27 seconds. I think it's one more, and it is sayonara to him and this Brazilian Grand Prix. He will be free to samba the night away. If he picks up another time penalty, will Envoy Extreme just struggling a bit on this track at the moment to keep the penalties down. Still going though in 14th. If he can keep the penalties down now, and we see a few more retirements, might just get rewarded with his first point of the season. We'll have to wait and see. A Rotation still in the lead. Pease has responded then to the fastest lap of Rotation, a 109.670 from our race leader, now 3.2 seconds ahead. He needs to pull that gap up. Rotation's got another time penalty. That's pretty much counting him out of this race unless Blaze starts making a few mistakes, and what Blaze is thinking about at this moment in time is maybe making an overtake. Never mind a mistake, he's closing up to the back of Rotation, just can't do anything about it though, stays behind for now, and Denge has managed to get ahead of Fatality then, so that is the Williams up into the top 10 as he's going to try and close onto the back of Ole. Farhad is currently on his own a bit in 8th position with a big gap back to the Ferrari, pretty much that entire first sector at this moment. Jesse's had a quieter run. He was involved in a few battles earlier on, looks as though he's driving to 7th place at the moment. With Farhad having 5 seconds of penalties, he's probably safe from him, but that Mercedes is looking pretty quick all of a sudden. Fatality back down the inside of Denge. These two battling tooth and nail for the final point at this moment in time, and they're both on 9 seconds of penalties as well. Williams is going to have DRS. Fatality is going to defend the inside line into Decido de Largo, into turns 4 and 5. Can Denge go all the way around the outside? Brilliant move on the brakes from the Williams. He is back in 10th position. Fatality is going to try and get the overlap into Ferrajova. He'll have to lift. That is the Williams back into 10th, and action will resume between these two again in about 30 seconds time, I assume, once we see the Ferrari driver this time get the DRS. And this battling, if anything, it's not helping them, it is holding them up at this moment in time. They are losing ground to Ole at this moment in time and not pulling away, which is not what they'll have wanted to do. Energetic 6 is back into the pits. How has he got any? That's like, is he trying to set a world record here for the most pit stops in a race? I've seen 12 at Monaco in a 50%, so he's on 11 at the moment. At this rate, he's going to have to go for 24 stops for me to even be vaguely impressed at the moment, so best of luck with that. Energetic 6, and of course, if he pits that often, he probably won't be classified either for not doing 90% of the race. Fatality. Battle resuming once again with Andenge, not close enough this time on lap 44. The Williams just getting away ever so slightly. You can see Energetic 6 there, just ghosting his way through at the moment. I think pretty much just making his own track up at the moment. He's still an overtake as well. I wonder, it is a known issue on this game where you can get stuck in overtake at the moment, and I wonder if that's why Energetic 6 was maybe struggling so much in wet conditions, why things have just gone a bit wrong for him in this race all of a sudden. Here we are then, Blaze, second place at the moment, 2.9 seconds ahead of rotation. He has, well, 2.9 seconds behind P, sorry, 0.6 seconds ahead of rotation. He has worked his way up ahead, and still, most crucially for him, he's kept it clean. You can see him and Ole and Insanity, the only drivers to have no penalties at the moment. Fair play to Insanity. If he keeps this up, he's getting his first podium of the season. If he keeps this up, because he will jump rotation as things stand. He's got no penalties. As long as he stays within 6 seconds, he will get ahead. Rotation's got the help of the DRS, though, off Blaze, although he is starting to drop out of that ever so slightly. He's just in it this time around as Blaze now sets the fastest lap of the race. Gets some bonus 2 points back from Total P's. Halen sets the fastest lap on those soft tyres. Perhaps not surprising. That could be a handy 2 points at the end of the evening. And he's now decided, right, I'm going to try and get past you, Damiano. I want to use this life I've got left in my soft tyres. Damiano's having to go slightly defensive here. Not really got a massive need to. Halen stays in 5th for now. That is another penalty for Envoy Extreme, and I think the game's probably a bit kinder, seeing as we are with a full distance race. He is now on 30 seconds. Again, still needs to be careful, does not want to get disqualified. I've not seen anyone get disqualified on this track before for too many penalties. Seen it happen at France and Russia, circuits where you do see a lot more penalties, partly due to the nature of the track and a lot of tarmac runoff areas, almost inviting the drivers to run off circuit. We've got a few curves and AstroTurf here, but there's plenty of grass for you to find if you get things wrong. Back on board then with our championship leader. With 25 laps to go, looking at almost certainty at this moment in time. If he keeps it clean, if he doesn't do anything stupid, if things stay as they are, Halen will be the inaugural champion, despite only having 2 wins this season. More podiums than anyone else, though, showing that consistency really is king. 11 podiums so far this season. He has done a fantastic job. Fatality picks up a time penalties. He's trying to stay close to Andenge. Hasn't been able to get close enough to the Williams for the last few laps to do an overtake, really. You're doing okay there, Luke Buddy. Yeah, I'm fine. The voice is dying, and whether the voice can stay at the end of the race, we'll have to wait and see, Tremenator. But thank you for asking about me. Thank you for showing some care. It's getting pretty warm for me. I dread to think what it is like for the drivers at this moment in time. I imagine it's getting pretty sweaty indeed, and Fatality will be hoping to get his way past Andenge all of a sudden. The Williams not with a lot of ERS here, so into the centre S for the Ferrari. He just decides to stay back. I wonder if he's thinking about using the DRS down the next straight all of a sudden. Here we go. Fatality. Is he going to open the DRS? He is indeed round the outside on the Retroposter. Nothing Andenge can do without that hybrid system energy providing 150 horsepower. He's a bit of a sitting duck at the moment. Andenge is into 11th position. Halen hanging on in 5th for now. Good enough for him to take the championship. As things stand, he's still pulling away from Jonathan Cox. Are these 2 cars. Damiano has dropped back a bit from rotation. The sun is starting to come out, which might be a bit more of a problem. Might heat this track up a bit more. Should mean, though, that we see a tiny bit more tyre wear, which for Halen, having been stuck in dirty air for pretty much this entire stint, with the odd exception of 1 lap at the start, I think, as he was catching up to Damiano, and then a lap in the middle as he got ahead of the racing points. He's been stuck in the dirty air for a long time, and that could prove costly. Your tyres overheat, your engine overheats, you lose a bit of penalty, you lose a bit of pace, I should say, not a bit of penalties, you lose a bit of engine performance. Envoy Extreme there, 33 seconds behind the car in front, and you can add another 33 seconds onto that, as again, Envoy has got another penalty. Ivory in the same situation. Strict corner cutting and me do not match, I think it's fair to say. Blaze is catching up to Rotate. Well, he's catching up to Pease at the moment. And Rotation has just recovered. He sort of had that struggle for a bit. I think he's recovered his ERS to a bit more of a reasonable level, and he's hanging in there all of a sudden. Blaze 2.6 off the back of Pease, and Rotation 3 seconds off the back of Pease. So if Pease picks up another penalty, Rotation is still on for a second place here. The win, it looks as though it is going to be a fight between Pease and Blaze as to whether the AlphaTauri can pull away. And with 22 laps to go, 3 seconds doesn't seem like a lot to pull away. But that gap has, if anything, sort of stabilised at around 2.5, 3 seconds in the final few laps. Energetic 6, that Renault pit crew have earned their money today. Energetic 6 is back into the pits. He's just donutting his way out of the pits at this moment in time. He's just having a bit of fun. Oh, Andenge has gone. What on earth has happened to Andenge? He's way off there at the centre S. He's a long way off track. They might be able to deal with that without a safety car as Rotation gets ahead of Blaze. Yellow flags. We're out on circuit, I believe, so I'm surprised that is a legal move then. Rotation has got ahead of Blaze, unless he got the move done on the straight before we got to the corner, of course. Andenge is out of the race. No VSC, no safety car. Well, in fact, no, as I say that, the game just tricking me ever so slightly. There is a full safety car. Full safety car here then. Lap 50 out of 71 in this race. And we are going to see if we can get Tremenator to join us in the comms box as Envoy picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Lap 50 out of 71. Will we see some pit stops now for the leaders? We'll be back in a moment. Here we are then. Total Pease has come into the pits. Rotation, the only one to stay out of those front drivers then. Alan is into the pits as well, obviously putting onto another set of soft tyres. Jonathan Cox coming in as well a bit further back. Damiano also on a fresh set of soft tyres. Tremenator has joined us then. This is good news for Blaze and Damiano. Neither of them have any penalties, so obviously they're looking pretty good at the moment.
Hi Luke, great job as always.
Thank you.
Couldn't stay away. So I had other things to do tonight, but I've had most of my focus on this race.
It's been one hell of a race to have your focus on at the moment. We've got our second full safety car period. We've had a VSC earlier on. Rotation's decided to stay out on the medium tyres, but he's really going to struggle to hold on compared to the grip that pretty much everyone behind him is going to have.
I think he's going to get gobbled up. Everyone's coming for fresh softs. Been interesting to see what's been going on in the championship battle, and I think Alan has it all under control, especially with Jonathan behind him. He's got his fate in his own hands. I think he can just control it from here. I think Jonathan's got to take some risks in the final 20 laps.
Yeah, I agree. Jonathan Cox now, you can say he will have caught up to the back of Alan. He had dropped back slightly in that earlier period, but he's got 6 seconds more penalties and needs to finish a long way up the road. He needs to be 12 points ahead of him, which in the lower points positions is still pretty much 6 places. It is going to be a big ask, but we've already seen a few incidents once the field packs close together. Alan's got to be careful. He's just not got to risk anything. He doesn't want to make a silly mistake now with 20 laps to go.
No, I think, like I said before, he's got it all in his own hands. He can just react to whatever Jonathan does. If Jonathan turns the pace up a bit, then I think Alan can just go with him. I mean, I've been watching, obviously, with intent what's been going on. I think Hilker's Energetic 6 has set quite a few records. 12, 13 pit stops.
Yeah, oh, he's been disqualified from the session as well. Well, that's... we won't be seeing any more pit stops. I was about to say, I've 15 pit stops. I have seen 12 at Monaco earlier, but that driver did manage to finish the race. So I think Energetic 6, I'm not sure whether he's overtaken the safety car or crashed into the safety car, but whatever he has done, but he has managed to earn himself a disqualification from this race. So we are down to just 13 runners all of a sudden. I said Envoy Extreme, it was just worth hanging on from him. He might have a drive-through penalty to come. He might have 36 seconds of penalties, but a few more retirements, he could still pick up his first points here. Now, it's going to be crucial for Pease and for Blaze and everyone behind that they get past rotation before the middle sector, because it's almost impossible in that middle sector to overtake anyone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was just in a chat with a few of the boys before, and point of view from Pease is he doesn't think he's going to be able to do anything to stop Blaze. I think Blaze not having any penalties, he's just quite happy to stay in Pease's DRS stream, and I think he's just going to follow him to the checkered flag. So yeah, the onus is really on Pease to get past rotation as quick as he can and just try and pull away, but I think Blaze will probably just try and stay with him.
Yeah, well, here we go. We are back to green flag racing, then a rotation. To be fair to him, he might be on the less grippier tyres. He's had a fantastic start, and he's got Edge in the middle of him here. We've got a full yellow flag showing up on screen, but we are back to green again. So Pease is in second position, Blaze third, Damiano fourth, Alan ahead of his championship rival at this moment in time. Everyone looks to have got through the first corner pretty cleanly. Farhad pretty close to the back of the lapped car of the best, as here comes Total Pease round the outside at Decido de Largo. He's up into first place, and that is what he needed to do, because now Blaze is going to be stuck behind the slower car of rotation in the Alfa Romeo for the entire of the second sector. Further back as well, Ole getting pretty close to overtaking Farhad, not able to get the move done. Fatality and Edge battling for 10th and 11th place at this moment in time. These cars are a lap down. They've dropped off the lead lap, so it is just for top 9 now on that lead lap. Edge battling back, and you've got all this traffic happening. It's a good job Ghosting's on at this moment in time, otherwise it'd be absolute chaos.
Absolutely. The Blaze now looks like he's got a run at rotation. I think this is going to be an easy overtaking to turn 1. And it looks like Damien fancies a bit of it as well.
Yeah, Damien's been
far behind.
Yeah, Damien's been fantastic all race. A bit of a revelation, really, after starting from the back of the grid. Pease is up into the lead. Blaze is second. Damien's not hanging around here. He's trying to go round the outside at the second part of the Centre S. Not able to do so, but he should have so much more grip off the corner than the Alfa Romeo. Rotation, surely. He's going to have to go defensive here if he wants to hang on to that third position. Damien perhaps deciding it's not the easiest place to overtake it to turn 4. Perhaps decided to just wait a bit longer, but that might drop him back a bit further. Surely he's not going to try and go around the outside at the Ferraggiore. He's still alongside rotation here. If he can hold this off, this would be a fantastic move. Just not able to do so, but he might have a chance to get in the cutback. If Alan's sensible, he just needs to hand back and wait for this to play itself out.
Yeah, obviously the perfect scenario for Alan is a collision between these two, then he's made up 2 positions nice and easy. Damien was in with a real chance of winning this race, but even just in the 1 lap being stuck behind rotation, he's already almost 2 seconds behind Blaze already. So Pease and Blaze, they've gone.
Yeah, I think out on track it is pretty much a 1-horse race now. His rotation has backed off the throttle quite severely there. He's tried something different. I can't really blame him. DRS has been enabled. We've got some big battling going on here. Alan might be able to work his way past Damien, who I think's used all of his ERS in all of this. Damien holds on then. Alan now 4th. Jonathan Cox right behind his championship rival. He's got nothing to lose. He's really in a situation now where he's just got to try and send it. Alan all the way around the outside into Decido de Largo. Gets up into 3rd place. That could be crucial. Jonathan Cox unable to follow through as well. Rotation stays in 6th. Jesse, Farhad, Ole in the background. Fatality is in 10th place. You've got Edge, FCT and Envoy Extreme coming out of the pits after serving his drive-through penalty, sped into the pit lane as well. So I think 38 seconds is now a record for what I've seen on this game. He is in 13th and last place. Blaze in that ideal position that you mentioned, Tremenator. Just needs to hang in there. He takes a second win in a row.
Yep. Keeping it cool, no penalties. I think he's just quite content with just following Pease to the checkered flag. The pressure's really on Pease to open up that 6-second gap. I can see Damien looks like he's trying to stay with Alan. He's got the DRS. Jonathan there as well. Jonathan looks like he's having a sniff.
Yeah, I think
nothing this time.
Yeah, the problem is though, they're both pretty low. Well, they've got Alan as well. They're all pretty low on their ERS. Jesse's got ahead of rotation, and rotation's around. He might as well come into the pits this lap, put a set of the soft tyres on and see what he can do, because he won't lose time to anyone else. He'll be in free air, but he might get the fastest lap of the race as Damien gets up into 3rd position. He'd have got it anyway on penalties, but if Damien could keep this sort of gap behind Pease, he could still get a second place on his debut.
Yep, I mean, the gap's only 4 seconds, and he's shown in the early part of the race he does have the pace, so it'd be interesting to see if he can close that gap. I'm wondering what Aylan's going to do with Jonathan, whether he's quite happy to just let Jonathan have the position, and then he can just quite happily follow him around the rest of the race. Aylan can quite happily finish 1 place behind Jonathan as long as it's not at the front, and he'll take the championship.
Yeah, he's a bit of an alien when it comes to not getting penalties. Oh, we've got a rotation. I think it's actually crashed out of the race, and we've got another full safety car. Well, that was not something we were expecting. I think rotation's just lost it a bit there. Coming through, by the looks of things, it was coming through turn 8 perhaps, so he's out of the race. And no one, understandably, coming into the pits. They've all got fresh soft tyres. We've got another safety car. And all that work Pease has done of trying to build that gap up, because he's clearly flying under the delta at the moment. He's got about 1.8 seconds ahead of Blaze, but that's just going to shrink. And there's good news again for Damien, because he closes right back in, and the time for Jonathan Cox to try and get ahead of Aylan just shrinks even further. We're only going to have 11, 12 laps once the safety car comes in. As there we go, Envoy now disqualified from the session.
We knew it was coming, didn't we? He racked up so many penalties, it was only a matter of time before that would happen. So we're down to just 11 runners. It's going to be a position where, as long as you make it to the finish, you'll get some points.
Yeah, it's a bit of an attritional race at the moment. If you're in last place at the moment, like FCT, you might as well come into the pits, get a set of soft tyres, see if you can set the fastest lap. If you've got a fresh set, you've got absolutely nothing to lose, and might just gain yourself 2 points here. They won't be able to gain a lap. It's not like real Formula 1, of course, where lap cars are let through onto the back of the field, and all the lap cars conveniently are actually at the back anyway, so it will just stay like this. Will Blaze hang back? We know that's the sensible thing to do, but there's always that bit of racing driver's pride. You want to take the win out on track, and he probably thinks, now that he's caught back up to Total Pease, that he might have the pace to do so.
Yeah, and all the drivers, of course, will be saving fuel, saving ERS, so as soon as we go green, it's going to be pretty much a sprint race for the last 11, 12 laps. So the onus again is back on Pease to get the hammer down and try and pull away again.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of restarts he gets, because he didn't get the best last time. It was actually rotation, got a very good restart indeed, partly helped by the fact that he had Etheridge in between them. Ole is coming into the pit, as is FTT the best, so both putting on the soft tyres, both knowing that they won't lose any position by doing so, and they'll have fresher tyres, so they might just work their way up the order. It's been a good race for Farhad as well, another driver who's not had any penalties. Crazy as it sounds, he could still get a podium. Yeah, he's a very, very clean driver. So he's had obviously had a few very intense battles earlier on with I think it was with Damien, but yeah, he's kept his nose clean, and him and Ole have suddenly looking like they're in a very good position. And like you say, Ole coming in for fresh tyres, not having any penalties, he's going to gain a few positions anyway. But he's going to be one of the fastest cars in the field when the flag goes green. Yeah, he'll be hoping that we don't get any more safety cars. We've had our third, and we've had one virtual safety car, so I'm not sure if that counts towards the game's limit on how many yellow flag periods we're allowed to have. But I imagine, barring a big incident, we will probably be green towards the end of the race. 58 out of 71, P's leading. The safety car is coming in this lap, so we're going to get, hopefully, 13 laps of green flag racing. When does P's put the hammer down? You do not want to give everyone a lovely slipstream all the way up this hill. Pease has been known to put the hammer down quite late. I seem to remember a race earlier in the season. He didn't go pretty much until we were at the start line. I think it was Bahrain. Yeah, that does seem to ring a bell. Ole's retired from the race. What on earth has happened to him there? Ole's out of the race, and we're down to just 10 runners. All of a sudden, Pease has now put the hammer down. He looks to have got that pretty good indeed. So Pease, Blaze, Damien, Aylan, Jonathan Cox, Jesse pretty close to the back of Cox. Not able to make a move though. If he gets a good exit here though, he could put the AlphaTauri driver under a bit of pressure. Etheridge has been getting back past the best, so that is for 10th and 11th place. So Jesse's still trying to close up to the back here. No DRS though until lap 61, and the slipstream not powerful enough with everyone having it at this moment in time to really do anything, as Fatality picks up another time penalty, just trying to keep those drivers behind him and getting a bit distracted by ghosting calm, of course, with himself and Farhad, as Jesse's chucks one down the inside there of Jonathan Cox. A bit of a late move there from Jesse, very lucky not to wipe out his front wing. Oh,
The driver's taking risks now right at the end. You don't want to cause a big scene, a big accident after what, an hour and 20 minutes of racing. All that effort will be for nothing. But thankfully, the championship battle, Jonathan Cox was not damaged and he's able to carry on.
Yeah, he's able to carry on. He looks to have recovered a bit there. I think, I don't know whether Jesse picked up any damage in that, because he does seem to have lost a lot of time all of a sudden. Now he's got Farhad all over the back of him, going to try and go round the outside. He's run out of ERS. He's used all his deployment for that lap. Is he going to be able to have a go into centre S? No, he is not. In fact, he runs a bit deep there, perhaps just getting distracted by the ghost car of Etheridge. And that's something a few drivers mentioned earlier in the season. I think Droftas mentioned it at Singapore. You can get distracted by these ghosts, by these lapped cars, and if you lose a bit of concentration, we've seen already, it's very easy to make a mistake.
Yeah, especially the drivers that rely on the racing line for the cornering. If there's a ghost car in front of you, you can quite easily miss your braking point and either overshoot it or, even worse, collide with another car that might be near you.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will be hoping that they don't do that. He's still in the lead of this race then, but penalties mean at this moment in time he will drop behind Blaze, he will drop behind Damien, and ridiculous as things sound, as there's another car off. That is the best, and we've now got a virtual safety car. I think he was involved in contact with the McLaren of Etheridge there, who's got front wing damage, and will have to come into the pit. So another VSC. Tyres just cooling down ever so slightly, but the gaps will stay the same. You can get a bit lucky though, depending on where the VSC ends. Sometimes it can end just at the right point for you, and you're able to get a run on your opponents.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of a crazy dive for FCT. He didn't need to make that. He'd have had DRS on the edge at the start-finish straight. Bit of a silly move. Didn't think it needed to be done, but Etheridge now has to pit for a new front wing. And that pretty much nails him down for P9, I think, now.
Yeah, barring any other accidents. And what did we say about safety cars possibly breeding more safety cars and more incidents? We've had another one there. Etheridge then in 9th position with the McLaren. Him and Fatality are lap down at the moment, but Fatality finds himself right in the middle of this pack, and another time penalty for Total Peace. That will drop him down, as crazy as it sounds, behind Farhad at this moment. Watch out for Farhad. He could surprise us and pop up with one of his best results of the season. Blaze doing what he needs to in 2nd place. Now Damien, he's got to try and go for this. He's got a chance of a win.
Yep, and all that stands between him and that win is Blaze, but the two of those, I think, don't really need to challenge Total Peace now with 9 seconds of penalties. It looks like Jonathan's got a run on Alan. He's got DRS. Alan is out of DRS range on Damien, so the two championship leaders going to battle into turn 1 here.
Yeah, looks like there might be Jonathan Cox. Oh, Alan there. I think Jonathan Cox was in 2 minds whether to go for it. Sort of decided by the time Alan had already committed to the apex of the corner. Lucky that there wasn't any damage. Unlucky he was just far enough behind there. Not close enough now to have a go into turn 4. So just has to stay behind another lap. It does look like he has got the pace, but with 6 seconds more penalties and needing to finish a long way up the order, it's hard to see, barring an accident for Alan, how Jonathan Cox can end up winning this title at this moment in time. Damien in 3rd, Blaze 2nd, Total Peace in 1st. We saw DRS trains at the start of this race. That's the problem Damien's got now. He knows he's got a chance of a win, but he can't rely on the move into turn 1 or into turn 4, because Blaze is also going to have the DRS, and it's going to be almost impossible for him to overtake there.
Yeah, I think Total Peace is actually really helping Blaze right now, because as you say, he's got the DRS on Peace, so he can use that to maintain the gap to himself and Damien. And Damien's going to have to exhaust all of his DRS, and if he can't get past Blaze, then I think Blaze might be comfortable.
Yeah, Blaze
having another look at Alan though, not this time.
Yeah, well, actually, Alan's had a bit of a wobble there through the first part of Centre S. Now there's a chance for Jonathan Cox here. Thought about going around the outside. He's not able to do so. The red light flashing on Alan. He's running out of ERS. Jonathan Cox knows he's running out of time for this championship, but down the inside he goes. He is up into 4th position then. Now can he try and catch up to those in front? And maybe just hope that Alan gets passed by a few cars further back as well, because then you never know. If Jonathan Cox can somehow manage to work his way onto the podium here, Alan finishing outside the top 5 would be enough then for the AlphaTauri driver to end up taking the championship. Only 8 and a bit laps to go though. Still Peace in the lead from Blaze. Damien not too far behind. Similar ERS as well. Blaze, if anything, has about 10% less, but not really a concern. Alan I think he has gone for more of a wet setup, you know, because he was struggling a bit in the early stages of the race. And again, once he's dropped back from the cars in front, he's not really able to stay with them. You can see here, not close enough to challenge Jonathan Cox for that position, but he won't mind at this moment in time.
Yeah, I noticed that early on. Well, obviously, when they came in to put the inters on, Aylan suddenly found a burst of pace and was able. I know Jonathan was double stacked by Pease, but he was able to get ahead of him and start to pull away. But yeah, since they pitted for drives again, he seems to have lost that edge of pace that he had. But I think he'll be calm in that cockpit right now. He just needs to follow Jonathan home, and as things stand, he will take that championship.
Yeah, I think all these retirements have just made it that bit harder. And Denji, if he hadn't had his trouble early on, we know he was quick. Rotation was looking very quick as well. We didn't get to see what some drivers could do. Noble and Liam retiring in the early stages. Lost Souls, the other Williams as well, after qualifying second and third in qualifying. Both Williams out of the race. Very disappointing for them as the leaders come round Young South with a 60.
Damien's got a very good exit
time, and Damien, I was about to say, he was really close to the back of Blaze. He's been able to use a bit more of his ERS here. They've both got the DRS open. He's just not able to get close enough at this moment in time, and with 7 laps to go, Total Pease is still leading out on track. With those penalties, he will drop down a few places, though, so might not even finish on the podium. So Blaze and Damien, that's the battle really to watch out for the lead of this race. Where's the best place to do it if you're Damien then? Because you can't really rely on the DRS zones. We're seeing that at the moment. The only really other place I can think of doing it is possibly into turn 8, or I think it's turn 11 where we saw Hamilton and Albon come together in 2019.
Yeah, I think it looks like Damien's got a lot of pace through the middle sector, and yeah, like you say, I think he just maybe needs to try and catch Blaze sleeping and go for a lunge into maybe turn 8, but maybe turn 11's probably better, because then he can get the hammer down towards Young Cow and use Pease as DRS to protect himself into turn 1. Looks like Etheridge has had another pit stop. This might just be his fastest lap.
Yeah, I think Etheridge now just enjoying himself.
A lie. Yeah, I tell a lie. It looked like on the map he was in the pits. Damien lost it a bit there.
Yeah, Damien getting on the curb. He's got DRS, but he won't have it next time around. He won't have it down the Retro Foster, the back straight, because he's now nearly 2 seconds behind, and that is how easy it can go wrong, especially on that run up the hill. It's very easy to put a wheel on the grass and find yourself spinning around. We'll see if he's got any pace left in his car to maybe catch up. So that's a good news for Blaze. He's maybe now got a bit more freedom to try and have a go at Total Pease with 6 laps remaining, though. The AlphaTauri driver still looking very good. He's been looking good all race. He kept it clean for the first few stages. Has just picked up 9 seconds of penalties, though. And Aylan mentioned this last week. He said it's a double distance race. There's going to be more penalties. Keeping it clean is going to be even more important.
Yep, definitely. And even Aylan's managed to pick a penalty up in this race, and he's usually the cleanest guy out there. But you know, all you can say is what a drive by Blaze, what a drive by Damien and Farhad to keep it clean for 66 laps. I don't want to put the jinx on anything, but it's fantastically quick and clean drive by all 3 of those guys.
Yes, definitely. I usually think in a 50% race you're doing well if you keep it down to 3 seconds of penalties. We're on lap 66 here, nearly onto lap 67. We've had wet conditions, so they won't really have had an optimal setup for either the dry or the wet parts. They're doing fantastically well to keep it clean. Everyone who's still in the race, I think, is doing fantastically well just to keep it out on track at this moment in time. Here, though, on board with the man who could well be king in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. Aylan just hanging on to the back of Jonathan Cox, who's not really been able to catch up to those ahead, so not been able to put the pressure on the leaders that he really needed to get the championship. Jesse's not closing up to the back of Aylan either. Farhad, Benefit just struggling with a bit of pace at this moment in time. Again, a supreme job to keep it clean. Might gain a position on Jesse at the end of the race, and maybe a few more if there are some more penalties. It looks like Damien's settling for what will end up being second place, and Blaze probably is going to get first place. Probably not going to be able to do it out on track though, because Total Pease is just fast enough where he needs to be at the moment.
Yeah, Pease is doing a fantastic job of keeping Blaze behind him. It's just a shame he's got those 9 seconds, because it's going to cost him what would have been a well-deserved victory. I know Blaze led for the early part of the race, but I think the driving by Pease today has just been one of the best I've seen from him. Obviously, he's missed a big portion of the season, but apart from that, he should also be in this championship fight himself, really.
And yeah, let's not forget, at the start of the season, he won the first two races, putting some fantastic performances in that early stages. It looked as though he was going to end up running away with this at one point.
Yeah, Australia, he had it all his own way. Bahrain, again, he was looking comfortable. Even a late safety car didn't stop him. And I think he won as well in, I think he got a win in Zandvoort, if I'm not mistaken, which was a race where we had change in weather. So he's proven he can drive in those conditions as well.
Yeah, well, he's proving that he can drive in every condition at the moment. I think it might have been some of that pace he showed in the wet weather, which has helped him out at the moment, because it ensured he stayed ahead of Blaze, even when he did have the pit lane speeding penalties to take into account, and managed to stay ahead of rotation and Damien, who didn't get those speeding penalties early on. There were just 3 laps remaining then, as Total Pease crosses the line for the 68th time. He's still leading this race by half a second from Blaze, who will take it on penalties. Damien pretty much settling now for that 3rd place on track. Needs to be careful though that Jonathan Cox and Aylin don't catch him up. Aylin just staying within DRS range of Jonathan Cox. To be honest, Jesse started to catch these guys up, and that might be exactly what Jonathan Cox needs. Another car getting into the mix in the final 3 laps.
I wonder if Jonathan is doing a Lewis Hamilton on Nico Rosberg and backing Aylin into Jesse, because that gap has come right down in the last lap and a half.
I've seen it done before.
It's all going to be for nothing because he's got 9 seconds.
I mean, I've seen it done in other leagues. Maybe he's hoping that he can get Jesse close enough to Aylin that Jesse might go for a bit of a lunge and ends up just spinning Aylin around. Although, I think even if Aylin just comes home in 7th place at this moment in time, that would still be enough. So fair play for Jonathan Cox, but he does really need a retirement causing mistake. But that makes sense because he was able to stay right close to the back of everyone earlier. Did have the DRS, of course, to help him stay up with Pease, Blaze and Lost Souls, who was the other car and rotation in that front 5. Well, at this moment in time, it looks like he's not really too bothered about pulling away from Aylin and just coming home in this position. But lap 70 out of 71, penultimate lap of the race. Pease still leading, Blaze still closing in, not with a lot of DRS just not powerful enough to really have a go. Jonathan Cox in 4th, then Damien in between the front 2 and this championship battle. Aylin pulls out the slipstream, decides it's not really worth going for it. Jesse's not really close enough either. Farhead just driving around on his own. Fatality also on his own at 8th at the moment. Etheridge, the 9th and last finisher. It's currently Blaze with the fastest lap as well, so he'll be getting a bonus 2 points from this. I think this performance is probably going to put him into like 11th or 12th in the championship. That's amazing for someone who's only been here for 3 races.
Yep, three races, probably going to be 3 podiums, and he's already ahead of me in the championship. Guy's quick, what can I say?
I think I could have done this entire championship. I'd have been surprised if I'd have got a point, to be perfectly honest with you. We are though on to the final lap of the race, the final lap of the season. Pease looks as though he's done enough to hold it out on track, and yeah, Jesse has got a run on Aylin here. Is he going to be able to dive it down the inside of the Haas driver? Aylin does not want to get involved in anything that could possibly cause a retirement, and I think Jesse knew that. He knew he could just send it because Aylin's going to dive out the way.
Yeah, both Jonathan and Jesse, 9 seconds of penalties, Aylin only with 3, so it wasn't Aylin's fight. He can just follow these 2 home and still jump them on penalties. Yeah,
according to Orange, Aylin's actually got a full dry setup, but his wings have suited the wet, so I imagine he's just put a bit more downforce on this car. Maybe that's why Jesse was able to catch up, and Aylin's maybe not been able to do a good job in the DRS as some of the other drivers. And here's 2 drivers that have really, you've got to say, done a fantastic job in this race, and pretty much in all the races we have seen them in throughout this season. It is going to be another victory out on track for Total Pease, but those 9 seconds of penalties are just going to cost him as he rounds the final corner past the pit lane entry. The AlphaTauri of Total Pease takes the checkered flag first, but it is Blaze who takes the victory in the final race of the season. Damien is going to get promoted up into 2nd place, and Aylin crosses the line to win the inaugural Late Night Racing Championship. Supreme consistency throughout the season and a well-deserved victor.
Yeah, I think over the course of the 22 races, he was Mr. Consistent. More podiums than any other driver, and I think on merit he does deserve to take the crown. But that's not to say it wasn't a very good effort from Jonathan as well. I think both guys should give themselves a pat on the back, but congratulations to Aylin.
Yeah, congratulations to Aylan. There's many moments that he could have saved, swung the season, perhaps. Of course, last week with Jonathan, he admitted just made a mistake coming out of turn 8 and 9 at Abu Dhabi into the wall. Who knows how many points he could have got there? Who knows whether it would have made the difference in the end? Jesse comes home in 6th. Farhad, in the end, couldn't gain on penalties, but still a good performance and one of his best of the season to get 7th. Fatality and Etheridge were the final 9 finishers. So many retirements in that race. We knew Brazil would deliver something good. Damien gets drive for the day. I can't really argue with that. Fantastic performance in the first stint. Brazil always delivers a good championship battle, let's be honest. Neither of the title contenders finished on the podium. Blaze, Damien and Total Peace get the podium. Aylan with the championship. What a fitting finale.
What a fitting finale indeed.
Yeah, fantastic job there. I think we are going to... Hopefully, we're going to get our 2 championship contenders, I think, in. Because I know I've invited a few of these top drivers for podium interviews before. So we'll give it a try. See how many we can get in. But Blaze taking the victory there. Damien, 19th to 2nd. And even that doesn't tell the full story of this Grand Prix. Total Peas gets another podium to finish off the season in 3rd. Aylan, 4th place for him, takes the championship. Jonathan Cox tried everything, finished ahead of his rival on track. 9 seconds of penalties, though, means he finishes in 5th place. Jesse was 6th, Farhad 7th. Fatality and Image a lap down. Something happened between the best and Image. Dive from the best led to him to retirement. Ole retiring in the pits. Rotation we saw spinning out, and Denge going off at the centre of S. Energetic 6 getting disqualified. Lost Souls retired early on in the pits, as did Immortal. Liam and Noble causing early VSCs and a safety car respectively. Envoy Extreme getting disqualified. It's been a brilliant season, and again, a brilliant race to put it to the end. That rain always had a bit of unpredictability. We had you yourself, I think it was, who said it's going to come at halfway distance, and then all of a sudden, rotation saying it's 10 minutes, it was somewhere in between. You just never know with the rain, and it's always about being on the right tyres at the right time, and that's probably what Pease and Blaze and Damien did better than some of the others.
Yeah, and as you say, Jonathan came in a couple of laps too early for those dry tyres, and in the end, I think that may have played a part in him missing out on a podium position. He just didn't have the pace for those 2 laps, and by the time the leaders came in, he was far enough behind them that it looked like his chances of that win had gone. Yeah, like you say, Brazil always delivers. We had changing weather, 71 laps, so many incidents. Perfect way to end the season.
Yeah, perfect way to end the season. I think we knew it was going to give us something special for the final race of the season. We are going to try and get our top 3 drivers in, and of course our 2 championship protagonists. I mean, at the start of the night there was technically 3 championship protagonists, because of course Andenge still had a try, and he so nearly set a pole position, and that might have just given him a bit of confidence if he'd have done that. But then all those early lap incidents just costing him in the end, and then a retirement towards the end of the race. But he'll be happy with how his season's gone as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, considering he hasn't won a race, to be in with the fight for the championship at the last race, I think that just shows his level of consistency as well. He was on the podium, I think, quite frequently early on in the season. But speaking to him earlier on, he held his hands up. He said he ruined his own race today by going into the back of Blaze under that first safety car. He puts his hand up, apologises for that, completely his own fault. But yeah, otherwise, I don't want that to dampen what's been a very good season for him, and hopefully next season he can pick up his first win.
I mean, we've seen a few good drivers have a good season consistency. I mean, he wasn't here tonight, but your teammate in the championship, KRC, he's another driver who put in good consistent results throughout the season.
Yeah, he was a guy that probably took a little bit of time to get going, but I think once he picked up that win in the first Marquis race at Baku, he just took off from there. Several podium finishes, and he was in the championship fight himself up until, was it the last race when he was dropped out of it?
I think so. Yeah, I think realistically, with a few races to go, but mathematically, a bit like Andenge mathematically in it to the last race, KRC could still have won it going into Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, fantastic drive, and obviously he put me to shame driving a Red Bull. I was obviously the Albon of the team, and KRC definitely the Max Verstappen this season.
I would not put yourself down. So we are going to try and get then, as I said, our championship protagonists and our 2 championship rivals going into that final race. Our championship winner, Aylan, and the runner-up of Jonathan Cox into the party chat. A sweaty race as well, because the drivers aren't used to doing these full distance races, and it does require a lot of concentration from the driver, especially when you've had so many safety cars and changeable conditions.
Yeah, I know from experience. I did the Austria race earlier in the season, and from 3/4 distance onwards, your body's just in all sorts of aching agony, and you're just not comfortable anymore. It's more a battle of attrition to get to the end rather than the race. You're just trying to survive for the last few laps.
Yeah, it was really a case of survival. We have got then our inaugural champion here at Late Night Racing. Alan takes the championship. We said there's dramatic title races here in Brazil, and that proved to be the case.
Ooh, baby. Yeah. I'm so tired. I don't really know what to say, but no, it's. I
thought we were going to get a Carlos Sainz moment then.
No, definitely not. I can't sing. Obviously unlucky to Coxey in the end. His penalties cost him in the end because he was quicker than me in the dry. But let's be fair, I got to where I was because I had less penalties throughout the season. So it's kind of fitting that it ended that way, to be honest. Happy.
Yeah, happy end. Quite a dramatic race, and we actually saw a bit of a rarity. You've mentioned you getting penalties. You got a pit lane speeding penalty, as did a few of the others. Was it just the lack of grip in the pit lane because of the rain that I think caught everyone out?
Probably. I mean, most races I'll always lose a bit of time because I'm too cautious. This time I thought I'm going to bang it in, slam on the brakes, see what happens. And as soon as I got the penalty, I was cursing really, but luckily, obviously the safety car came out so I could serve it. No, I didn't even serve it under the safety car, did I? Ignore that. Luckily it came out where I could go soft to the end. That was the original plan, and people who went mediums, I'm guessing, are not as experienced with 100%ers, because the mediums around Brazil don't last a ton longer than a soft, so they would have easily been on threads, I think, at the end. So I'm pretty confident that the soft would have worked anyway if a safety car didn't come out. But it doesn't matter now, does it?
No, it is over, and you are the first ever Late Night Racing champion, so congratulations. We'll go over to your championship rival, just defeated in the end. Then it was Jonathan Cox, so close in the end. It's just probably all those safety cars in the different conditions meant you couldn't really pull out a gap to negate those penalties.
First, I just want to say congratulations to Alan. Yeah, well deserved, consistent. Like I said, penalties cost me. But live and learn, carry on next season. Yeah, I felt I had more pace than Alan at the start. The rain. I think the rain cost me a little bit of time, plus I had to double stack with Total Pete as well. So, but yeah, anyway, you live and learn, I suppose. But
was that a gamble to pit for the dry tyres? Obviously, you came in to put your mediums on a couple of laps before the leaders.
I felt that. Well, to me, I felt the track was dry. There weren't as much spray as there were on the previous lap, but it took a while. It took a while for them to get up to temperature, and I realised that I may have put the wrong tyre on, and maybe I should have put the softs on. But yeah, you live and learn in racing, and you just take it on to the next. You take it on to the next race, and you just get on with it, really. But yeah, congrats, mate. Respect.
Thank you.
Very magnanimous words there. We'll now go on to the race winners and the podium setters. We'll go on to taking another victory this season. It was Blaze. You have been in fantastic form since the since you joined the league a few races ago. 2 victories and a second place, and you managed to get another one today in what was pretty tricky conditions. Yeah, as you said, really good race. Were you tempted at the end to pass Total Peas at all, or did you just know it's going to be a bit tough? I've not got any penalties. Just stay behind and take the win. Great, again, like I said, great performance. Will you be coming back next season? Because with the pace you've shown, you definitely give Alan a run for his money for the championship. That's good stuff. I'm sure that'll be fantastic to see. So congratulations on your win. It was Total Peas who finished second on track, so close to getting another penalty, to getting another victory, but a little bit like your teammate Jonathan Cox, just having those penalties and the constant safety cars, you weren't able to build up that gap.
Yeah, I think I was competitive the whole race. I had a good middle stint, especially in the wet, but I think that was more because Blaze got caught out by that 5-second penalty. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, you have to keep it on the black stuff to win the races, and that's what Blaze did today. And it's the same reason why Chris was the champion, because he's one of the best people I know that can do that. So yeah, I had good pace, but I just need to improve on keeping it on the track.
Yeah, well, it shows how tough it was today that even Chris managed to pick up a time penalty for track limit. It's always tougher in a 100% race. Do you think that's what made it even tougher, the fact that it was a 100% race? It's not something the drivers are used to, because we did see probably more than double the amount of penalties you would have seen in a standard 50%er.
Yeah, I remember looking at the race laps. It was like 36 laps, and I had 6 seconds already, so I knew it was going to be a long race. I was already sweating in my chair. I'm lucky I'm on the controller, because everyone else on the wheel probably dying, because I had enough of that race by like lap 50. So I'm just more happy it was over, to be honest.
I've got to tell you, I'm sweating as well, if I'm being perfectly honest. Tremenator, do you have any questions for anyone in the chat?
I've sort of just let you go with this, Luke, but congratulations, Alan. Over the course of the season, we were saying you probably were the most consistent, therefore I think it's no surprise you took the championship. I was just thinking, looking back through the results, Jonathan, do you think that maybe your collision with Orange back in Austria in the last double points race has played a big part in this? Because you and Orange had a comfortable lead at Austria, and if things played out differently there, you know, you'd have probably come into this race with a comfortable lead. Do you look back on any one incident throughout the season and think, yeah, that's where I threw it away? Or is it just a combination of Alan's consistency and mistakes in certain key moments for you?
I think, there's many reasons. Alan's consistency, which I cannot fault, but I respect a lot. The incident with Orange at Austria, I don't think so. I don't think it cost me anything. I think the main one that cost me was Abu Dhabi last week, where I crashed out. I didn't get any points, so I think that was the main one that cost me the championship. But
you're the kind of guy that will
mistakes. So you learn by your mistakes and you improve. So
yeah, like you say, you'll go home, you'll lick your wounds, and then you'll come back stronger next season.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure everyone will be coming back stronger this season. And seeing as we've got you here, Tremenator, and you're involved in the running of the league, there are a few changes being made to next season involving the point system and the calendar.
Yeah, this was something that myself and Eng and Ole were talking about. Obviously, throughout the season, new drivers have come in who have just been getting quicker and quicker. And we've seen a lot of the guys who are near the back coming in and just retiring. And even though we do offer the point for fastest lap, a lot of guys are still coming in and retiring when they think there's no chance of finishing in the points. So we decided to overhaul the point system to just make it so that there's always something to compete for. So even if you make it to the end of the race, you will score some points. So hopefully there's battles all the way through the championship. That was one of the changes we decided actually about midway through the season that we were going to do. And obviously that's going to make things a little bit closer in the Drivers' Championship. But when you see the season we've had going into the final race with 3 drivers going for the championship, you wonder, like, why are we doing this? But we're hoping next season's going to be even closer.
Yes, I'm sure it will be. So thank you to the top 3, well, the top 2 from the race for joining us. Total Peas, who finished first across the line, ended up 3rd, and Blaze finished in 2nd along across the line, taking the victory. Thank you as well to the top 2 in the championship as well. Alan taking the inaugural championship, and that is something no one will be able to take away from him. Who will be able to, though, take the 2nd championship here at LNR? Announcements will be made soon on the Twitter, on the Discord as well. If you are part of that, February the 27th, in 3 weeks' time, will be the start of the season. Thanks to Tremenator for joining me in the commentary box. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks to all the commentators that have been part of this as well. Thanks to everyone who has raced and watched throughout this first season. And we'll see you soon for some more late night racing action. Good night.